You feel like you got black belt?
For one, I was a blue belt, right?
Okay.
As a blue belt, I opened my gym, a NoGi gym. I took off the gi and didn't want to wear the gi again.
Was this next generation?
Yes.
All right, okay.
And I mean, it doesn't take, and we can, there's been thousands and thousands of posts forever about gi versus NoGi. And I felt like it only takes a little bit of common sense to know that every time I grab your collar, every time I grab your sleeve, every time I grab your pant leg, every time I grab your belt, that is creating a habit of me doing that and using that, right?
Yes.
Now I take off the gi and I don't have those things anymore. So I've been creating habits to do things that I don't have to use when I actually need them.
It's a whole different game, right?
I'm not going to fight in a gi.
Mm-hmm.
So my point, my idea was I need to train exactly how I'm going to fight, right? I still want to learn jiu-jitsu technically, but without the gi. I don't want to do luta livre. I don't want to do submission wrestling. I want the discipline and tightness and everything of jiu-jitsu, but I want to do it without the gi. And so at blue belt, I opened my gym. I did not have a coach after blue belt. I did not watch instructionals. I fucking trained. I have videos of me training with my friend Jeremy Williams until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just straight for 3 hours, just live drilling, live training. And my game developed over trial and error. I fought, I did jiu-jitsu tournaments, I did everything. And what worked, I kept. What didn't, I didn't. And so when I took the gi off, people started calling my gym, started, shit talking me, as a blue belt and not wearing the gi. Then no one was going to promote me because I didn't have a gi on and I didn't have an instructor and so on and so forth. Kleber Luciano tried to fight me a handful of times. I wanted to fight this dude so bad. He's another black belt he was like a half hour from me, but still, like any tournaments I went to, people would talk trash on us or whatever, but we would show up and win all the time. Like all the time we were winning jiu-jitsu tournaments, matches. My blue belts would beat brown belts. My purple belts would beat black belts. Russ Mira, one of my top guys, was 40-0 in jiu-jitsu. We went to Grappler's Quest, run through black belts, as a purple. And because people were splitting time 50-50, right? They're training in the gi, they're training without the gi, they're training the gi, they're training without the gi. We only trained NoGi. So let's say you have a kids class and your kid trains gi and on Wednesdays they train NoGi, right? My kids never put a gi on. Do it for 2 months. Now let's go do a jiu-jitsu tournament with NoGi, right? Mm-hmm. My kid's probably going to win because your kid's doesn't have much NoGi experience at all, right? So when they kept telling me your gi will make your NoGi better, I was like, I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense because, well, it'll make it tighter. I was like, it's tighter because the gi's on. It's not tighter when the gi's off. I have to make it tighter when the gi's off. My NoGi, if it's really tight, might make my gi tighter, but it's not going to make me tighter to use all the things in gi and then take it off. I have to now have my own handles, my own grips, my own everything for NoGi. So I spent a decade working Kimuras, arm bars and Kimuras, another decade working guillotines, 10-finger guillotines, front headlock, and controlling the body without, I want, like Eddie Bravo and those guys would wear those leggings in the UFC, for grip. I want to be able to control you in the 5th round when it's sweaty with no grips.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone else was the opposite. They think NoGi, because it's slippery, it's easier to escape. I'm not trying to escape. I'm trying to fucking kill you. Right. And so when you have all these things that are holding you back, you need to figure out how to be able to do it without the gi on. And so that was my 10,000 hour rule, right? Outliers, 10,000 hour rule.
I'm going to mastery. Yeah.
Yes. And I'll go on, I'm probably bad for most teachers because I do everything on one side, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 30,000 hours on one side. I guillotine on my left side.
Yes.
I inside heel hook your left leg, outside heel hook your right leg. I can pass both ways, but I'll windshield wipe to your right side because I'm going to attack your left arm. Everything comes off your left arm. I'm going to Kimura arm bar, everything your left arm. Arm drag, your left arm. you know,
I
but I'll
love-
sell you hard on the other side. But if you
Yeah.
know me, it's going to make it harder, more challenging for me because you know I don't want that. I'm
Yes,
going
yes,
there,
yes.
you know, but I've got more hours on one arm than you do on two, you know?
Yeah.
And so my thing from the very beginning, bro, I had no experience, you know, I didn't even have education. I went in this with I was street smart and logic. And I was just like, you can't tell me that I have to do this to do this. Motocross guys don't go train street bikes to get better at motocross.
Right,
They fucking
right.
train street or dirt bikes, right?
Yeah. All right, go on, coach.
So my plan was to just go all in and NoGi, all in on controlling people, how to figure out how to control grips and handles and everything without the gi on. With it being slippery, you know, with it being late in a match. And then I decided, you know, I'm going to go even further in and specify one side. I'm going to be specific on one side and just fucking become great at it. And now, so I did NoGi Worlds, NoGi Pans, 13, 14, 15, and I had 19 matches and 18 of them were won by the same Kimura grip armbar against other black belts. I'd lock it up and I'd lock it up and kind of look at one of my kids that were on the side, like, here we go again. And then, you know, my first one was a flying armbar. The rest were in the finals. And then the rest were Kimura armbars and then one on points. But I was so good at that. It was hard to finish my blue belts with it because they had all been done to so many times that I started getting really good at guillotines because they started stopping my thing.
Right.
But I then would grab black belts from somewhere else just like that and catch it. And still to this day, if I go teach seminars and I lock up my Kimura grip on somebody, they're just like, oh, you know, like, whoa, they haven't felt that because I've dedicated, like I said, a decade of time to ripping your fucking left arm off.
Yeah, you're like that Bruce Lee quote. It's like that 10,000 hours with the one jab.
Yeah, right.
Or 10,000 hour, or 10,000 kicks.
Right.
You know, I love that you brought that up because you often hear it's like, yeah, work both sides.
Yeah.
But then I completely agree with you. It's like you're narrowing your focus to focus on it to get better at that one side. Now I know there's different like schools of teaching in that,
Sure.
but damn, it only makes sense.
And I tell people at seminars, I apologize to your teacher. You know, I'm all one side. I go 100% on one side, you know, because I'm sure they say do both sides.
Yeah.
I lost one arm bar once because of it. I end up in a scramble, end up on the right arm. And I was like, God, I have zero control here. I felt like maybe a blue belt on that arm and lost the arm bar. But then regained the arm on the left side.
So what makes a 18 first round submission, 95 finish rate? What makes that happen? Is it just reps? Is it drills? Like, what do you see in jiu-jitsu in particular that you're like, okay, I unlock the code to being, you know, some like I had Andrew Tackett over here.
Yeah.
And obviously one of the best in the world. And it's just you find openings, right?
Yeah.
What about you? What would your, I guess you could say, advice be? Or what do you see that really wins jiu-jitsu matches?
I drilled a lot. A lot, you know, hours on my stuff, and my roles are specific. I don't just roll with you. Like I've been rolling with you, but like if I'm back in the day and coming up and as I was competing, I'm rolling with you with intention. I'm trying to get your left arm. I'm trying to get your neck with my left arm. And I'm trying to get to that position the entire time. I'm passing. Passing is my favorite thing, but passing leads me to those two things. So I'm constantly passing to get to those things. And I'm not rolling in whatever happens, or whatever position you give me, cool. I'm trying to do my thing and stop you from doing your thing.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's not, I think a lot of people roll and lose position so much, or roll, even if you take a flow roll and pick it up into a full speed roll, that's what it looks like when people are going live, you know, and not really a path to anything. And for me, one thing I'll have my guys do to improve is I'll take away, like, pick a submission, and it's the only one you can do all month. Pick one submission, that's all you can do all month.
Really?
Yeah. And so let's say you pick rear naked choke. In that month of getting to the rear naked choke, you're going to find many different back takes, right? You're going to have different passes to get back takes to get the rear naked choke. And so after you've done that for a month, you'll be like, oh man, I could have had an armbar right there, but I passed, and I could have had a guillotine right there, but I passed. And I worked and I worked and I worked to get to the back. But in that time, I'm now seeing all the other routes and things I could have gotten. And now when it comes time to take the handcuffs off and you can do everything, you now have this path to the back, but then you can snag that. You're so controlled in your ways to the back. You have now all the openings for the submissions you were passing on. You remember those things you were passing on because you got so comfortable doing the one thing that those stood out to you because you couldn't have them, and now you can have them and you'll improve tremendously that way.
When did you figure that out? Because the temptation when the arm is there, to get that, like, come on, man. Like
a long time ago, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. But it really is it is a lot of temptation.
I mean, you want to play your A game,
Right. And you might not, for example, what belt are you?
Purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm rolling with you and I should submit you, right? But if my goal is to only get your back and renegade choke you, I might pass on 5 things and get your back and the bell will ring. And you're like, I survived. I didn't get submitted by him. But really, I was just trying to get your back and choke you, right? Sure. And it might be, for me, if I have a big ego, it's like, God, I didn't catch him. I didn't submit him. But it's not, like, just deal with that and know that you're learning something to get somewhere for a purpose. And then it will help you so much. And, so don't have the ego thinking, oh, that guy thinks I couldn't catch him because I didn't catch him. Who cares? Just keep working that thing and you will get so much better once the handcuffs come off.
So when someone teaches you something, okay, first of all, how do you learn all these moves? Is it like I know you said it was a surf learn thing. You didn't have a coach, right? Like right. In your blue belt days. How did you learn that? Was it just videos and then you drill it over and
over? I didn't watch videos. I didn't watch any instructional videos ever.
Yeah.
I was training at the Gracie Academy. Horian was a great teacher. Every shitty at everything else. Hoist was a okay teacher, but he was a good fighter.
Yeah.
And I would listen to Horian teach because he taught, very well. And then Hoist came downstairs one day and said, all right, everybody take off the gi. Take off the gi. We're going to go open hand strikes and no gi, no shirt. And I rolled up everybody. Like, there was some guys that were better than me in the gi and I rolled up everyone. And that's when I was like, oh, from that point on, I was like, I'm never putting the gi back on again unless I have to in this class, but I'm going to study how Horian teaches and learn how he's speaking to teach this stuff. Even though he's only showing basics, I'm going to take the principles that he's showing and then apply that to, better techniques. And then I would continue to teach. Anytime I'm teaching, I think teaching makes you better because you're constantly drilling it and you're saying it out loud over and over again. You're saying the details out loud. You're breaking it down out loud so it sticks in your head. And then when you go time to go live, all those details are implemented in your head. And so I think that's one of the main things that made me good is I started teaching at a blue belt level. I was teaching full-time my own gym at a blue belt level. So I was able to learn. I was able to keep taking the verbiage and whatnot that I learned and how to speak, teaching to all the higher level techniques that I was applying and learning and doing on my guys. And I made 5 guys really, really good, really fast just for my own training partners.
Right.
I had a guy, Jeremy Williams, Tracy Hess, Eric Victor. There was 4 or 5 guys. And we just trained. My first gym opened and closed in 7 months because we didn't, I opened a really nice gym as a blue belt, didn't have any experience in business, but we trained all day, all night, whether there was students or no students, we were training. And I just got these guys really good as fast as I could. And then I had great training partners. And then I continued, I went to my garage, built it up in my garage, and then opened again and took off after that.